masters, fellow practitioners, and guests. When we practice Buddhism, there are many guidelines that we can use to practice. One of these is to practice as bodhisattvas do, and this is to follow the 6 paramitas. The first of these is giving. Giving is to give what we have, to give what others need. Giving can be of 3 kinds. It can be of wealth. Usually when we say giving of wealth, people think of donating money to a church, temple, or an organization. This is only one of the many kinds of giving. We can also give our possessions. We may not have great wealth to give, but we can give things that we have. We can also give of our internal wealth. When we see somebody is doing something that is good, that is proper, we can help them to do so. At first, when we practice this kind of giving, we may feel a little grudging about doing so. But the more we practice giving, the easier it will be to do more in the future. The second kind of giving is that of teaching. This can be anything we know that another does not know, that the person has indicated they wish to learn. When somebody wishes to learn something that we know, we continue to teach them as long as they express the wish to continue learning. But in our teaching, we are to hold nothing back. If we do hold something back, this is known as grudging teaching. The result of this in the future will be ignorance. But if we teach others wholeheartedly, without holding anything back, we will gain wisdom in the future. From the giving of wealth that we just spoke of, if we practice this giving, we will gain wealth in the future. If we help others, we practice physical giving, then in the future, when we too are doing something proper, others will come to help us. And the third kind of giving is that of fearlessness. This can be as magnificent as giving our life to save another. It can also be as wonderful as seeing somebody who is upset and doing whatever we can to comfort them, to make them feel less worried, less upset, more calm, more at ease. When we give this third kind of giving, we will gain healthy, long lives in the future. If we know people who now are very wise, it is because in their past lifetimes they practiced the giving of teaching. If we know those who have great wealth, it is because they have given wealth in the past. Often when we think of wealth and look at people who have wealth, we may begin to doubt the law of cause and effect. Cause and effect tells us that every thought, word, and deed will have a result. More than likely not in this lifetime. Maybe in our next lifetime. 10 lifetimes from now, 100 lifetimes, 1,000 lifetimes from now. But when the conditions are correct, every cause that we have generated will have a result. This may seem very logical and sound very realistic, but we may begin to doubt when we look around us. All of us know people who are very good, who help others. They're very kind, very caring. They constantly think of others. They do not think of themselves. When others want to know something, they share their wisdom. When others are upset, they comfort the people. They constantly help others. But in this life, they may have many problems, and they may have very difficult lives. They may have barely enough money to survive. When we see this, we may begin to doubt cause and effect. We may think, these people are so good. They do everything they can to help others. Yet their lives are so difficult. Where is cause and effect? We live in one very, very small instant of time called a human life. We may feel this is a long time, but actually this life of ours is very short. In our past lives, we have done many things that we do not know about. Not knowing of them, we do not understand everything that is going on. We may see that in this life, people are very good, but we do not know what they have done in their past lifetimes. In our former lifetimes, we all have done much that is good. But we have done much that is bad. We have hurt many people. And if we think back on what our thoughts were like today, what we said, what we did, we will realize that it is very likely that we have done more that is wrong than what is right. Because we are currently living as humans. But in past lifetimes, we have lived in other realms. And we have not had the opportunity to practice goodness in those realms. So we do not know what we have done before. But we are taught that what we are going through now is the result of those past lifetimes. People who are having very difficult lives now have done much that is bad. They have hurt others. This is why they are having difficult lives now. We also see people who are not very nice, who are very selfish, very cruel. They do nothing to help others, and they have immense wealth. They have no fears of hunger. They have no fears of where will the money come from to support their family. If they want something, they buy it. They need not ask the price. They seem to have lives of great freedom, great ease. And when we look at what they're doing, it can be very puzzling, because they are doing nothing that is good, but they are living very comfortable lives. Again, in the past, they did much that is good, and that is why now they are enjoying such benefits. When we undergo difficulties, try, and this is very difficult, but try not to feel angry or resentful. Try not to feel self-pity. Poor me, I'm trying to do what is good, but everybody gives me a tough time. Nothing is going well. I cannot find a job. I don't know how I will support my family. If instead we can understand that what we are undergoing is because of what we did, there is no other being that says, you will have a very good life. You will have an unbelievably difficult life. Good lives, difficult lives, are because of what we think, say, and do. If we can understand this, we will understand that the difficulties now are repaying debts that we owe. If we cannot feel resentment, but if we can understand and say, I don't want to live like this in the future. So, I will practice giving. I will help others. I will teach others. I will help others feel secure. I will give of my physical strength. If I don't have money to give, I can give other things. There are many ways we can give. But I will give without thinking of self-benefit. And I will think only of helping others. When we do this, we are creating the seeds that will bring us good lives in the future. All this comes from giving. Also understand that we may be having difficult lives because of the bad that we have done. But because of the good that we have done, things may have been even worse if we had not done good things. Cause and effect is very simple. Do something good, receive something good. Do something evil, receive something evil. Cause and effect is unbelievably complicated. It is connected through all of our lifetimes, through the past, present, and future. All the threads of what was done, what will happen, are beyond our beginning to understand. But we don't need to know each connection to believe in cause and effect. Think about people who were born and as very young children have exceptional talents. Mozart is an example. At the age of 6, he was composing beautiful pieces of music. When he would write a piece of music, he would write the whole thing and never need to correct it again. Why was this person born with such unbelievable talents? An excellent case for reincarnation, excellent proof of cause and effect, of what he had done in former lifetimes being connected in his current lifetime. We don't need to understand it all. We simply need to believe that Buddhas and Bodhisattvas would not lie to us. And they tell us we cannot take physical things with us when we die. We cannot take our possessions. We cannot take our friends, our family. We take none of these. What follows us is cause and effect. What we can take with us is the 10 great vows of Universal Worthy Bodhisattva: to respect, to help others. We take nothing else. But if we want our lives to be better in the future, we practice giving now. And if we practice sincerely, if we practice from our true nature that we have within us, that all of us have, this is the same nature as Buddhas, Bodhisattvas have. If we practice with sincerity, perfect sincerity, no selfishness, thinking only of others, without any expectation of reward, then we will be in touch with our true nature. When we give $1 to someone that we see that obviously has nothing and who is asking for help, if we spontaneously just give, we don't think, we don't analyze the situation. They are hungry. They have no home. They need help. We just give them $1. And we do not think of it again. We do not think that I gave, they received. We do not think of what we gave. We just give without attachment. When we do that, we are giving from our true nature. And when we give, the benefits from this are infinite, because they are in touch with our true nature. They arise from that nature. And that true nature is the same in everybody. We are not individuals. We are all one. To give, to help others, should be as natural, as spontaneous as my trying to pick up a cup that is too heavy to lift with just one hand. I do not need to think, okay, the cup is very heavy. What can I do? What are my choices? What else can I do to lift that cup? Oh, I have another hand. I can use that hand. With 2 hands, I can lift it. We obviously don't need to go through this process. We can be talking to somebody, feel thirsty, The cup is too heavy. We continue talking, concentrating on our conversation, and with both hands pick it up. We do so because we know one hand, the other hand, are part of the same body. So one automatically helps the other. This is how spontaneous, how natural we need to be in helping others. We give to help all others. We give without attachment. We often speak of attachments, and we need to understand what these are to practice giving. Attachments are thinking of, wanting something, having thoughts of it. An example is a story about two monks who came to a wide stream. The water was very deep, and there was a very pretty young lady standing on their side of the stream. And she was trying to get to the other side, but she could not manage it on her own. She turned to the two monks and asked if they could help her. The older monk said, "No problem," picked her up, carried her across the stream, put her down. The younger monk followed him across the stream. For those who do not know, monks are not supposed to go around picking up pretty young ladies. The lady went one way. The monks went the other. The young monk kept thinking about this. The master had done something wrong. He did not understand it. How could the master have done this? He kept thinking. Finally, he could bear it no longer. And he said, "Master, I have to ask a question." The master said, "Of course, ask your question." The young monk said, "Back at the stream, you carried that woman across the stream. How could you have done that?" The master looked at him and said, "What stream? What woman?" The master had put her down on the other side of the stream and had let go of any thoughts. He had no attachments. The young monk was still attached to what had happened. He thought about it. He constantly went over it in his mind. He was attached. In our giving, we need to not have attachments. If we do, we will limit the benefits of what we gain. And our attachments will keep pulling us back into reincarnation. We need to give something, whatever, and then no longer think about it. An excellent way to practice this is to give things that we own, things that we like, things that we have had for a very long time, to give it to somebody else. If we are not attached, we don't think of it again. If somebody asks us about it, we are reminded of what happened, but we don't think, "I wish I hadn't done that. I wish I still had it. I miss it." If we miss it, if we wish we hadn't done it, we are attached. And our attachments keep bringing us back into our lives in reincarnation. Give and let go. Master Jing Kong often talks about let go. We need to understand what this means. When we give, we let go. We let go of thoughts, of desires for what we had, of wishes that we had it back. We let go of our attachments. But to let go does not mean that we let go of our responsibilities. A person who had heard teacher say this wrote a fax to teacher saying, okay, I have let go. Now what do? I let go of my job. I let go of my home. I gave everything away. I have no way to earn a living. I have nothing left, no way to support my family. I let go. Now what do? This is not letting go. We are to let go of our attachments to something. We let go of the attachment, but we meet the responsibility. When we study, when we go to school, when we work, when we have responsibilities at home, responsibilities where we live, we do everything we can to meet those responsibilities as best we can. When we leave school, work, whatever, we do not constantly think, go over what we did, what we should have done, what we need to do tomorrow. We let go. While there, we did our very, very best. But when we go home, or when we go somewhere else, we do our best in that environment. So everywhere we are, we do our very best. But we understand, I can control, to some degree, what I do. But I can only control it as far as trying to do my best, trying to concentrate on what I am doing, trying to think clearly and do the tasks as best I can. And we can think in this way, but we cannot control things outside of ourselves. We may work on a project, and most of us have probably had this happen. We have spent much time at work, at school, doing something in an organization, and we just about got it completed. We spent a long time working on it. We tried very hard, and we feel we have done a good job. Somebody, a superior, a teacher, somebody in a position of authority, a decision maker says, that's very nice, but the plans have changed. And we're not going to do it that way. We're going to do something else instead. Most people, when this happens, would feel varying degrees of irritation, resentment, anger, frustration, I worked so hard. And now nothing will be used. We can stay attached to what we did, and we can stay angry. It's our choice. Everything comes from within us. But it's not the other person making us angry. We are making us angry. We are making ourselves frustrated, irritated. As soon as we realize this, we need to stop and think, okay, is there anything I can salvage from what I did? If not, I'll put it aside. Surely at some point I will be able to use parts of that. If nothing else, I learned from it. The next time I try to do something, maybe in this other way of doing the project, maybe I'll be able to work more efficiently, more quickly, because I learned more. Do not be attached to what we have done. Let go. Turn around and then concentrate on the new project, whatever it is we are doing, and work just as hard in that. This is the only way we improve our futures. And when we speak of our futures, we are not just talking about this lifetime, because we don't know how long our future in this lifetime will be. But we do know if we do good things, they will come back to us in the future. So we need to stop thinking of just this lifetime, but to go beyond that. We need to stop thinking of just ourselves, but to go beyond and think of others. We need to think of what we can do for them, how we can teach them, how we can give to them in everything we do. The second precept, the second principle, is called keeping the precepts. When practitioners start to practice, first, their initial formal ceremony that they go through, their announcement, their commitment to being a Buddhist, is to take the three refuges of the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. This is to return to awakening, to have proper thoughts, and to live in harmony and purity. This is the meaning of taking refuge in the three jewels of the Dharma, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. The next step in being a Buddhist is to take the 5 precepts. No killing, no stealing, no lying, no sexual misconduct, no intoxicants. When we speak of the principle of keeping the precepts, the meaning goes much, much farther than just keeping these very important 5 precepts. The first 4 precepts are moral responsibilities. They are found in virtually every religion, every moral teaching in this world. They are not solely Buddhist. The 5th precept, no intoxicants, is not a moral precept in nature, although many religions practice no intoxicants. The main reason for taking this precept is becoming intoxicated, losing our judgment. We may end up breaking one of the other 4 precepts or doing something wrong. The other day we were talking about no killing. There are many, many degrees of no killing and many degrees of karmic result. The most serious of killing is one of the 5 offenses for Buddhists. Killing our father, killing our mother, causing a Buddha to bleed, killing a Bodhisattva or an Arhat, causing disruption in the Sangha. An important word in these are intentional, because everything arises from our intentions. The intent is very important. When we think of killing, called premeditated killing, when we think of this, when we plan to kill someone, some being, and we plan, this is a very, very serious form of killing. Because at any point, we could have pulled back and said, no, I will not do it. But we thought about it, we planned, and we did it. Very heavy karmic consequence, very serious offense. There is also killing by becoming angry and in an instant losing one's temper, picking up something, striking the other person, and killing them. This is killing, but without the premeditation. There is killing of accidentally killing someone. We don't even mean to do something. We trip somebody, they fall. In a freak accident, they die. Killing, but not intentional. There is also killing other beings. We share in the killing, the karmic consequences, when we eat other beings. We share in those consequences, even if we were not directly involved in the killing. There is also killing in simply walking around, stepping on an ant that we did not even see. All degrees of the precepts. Lying is another precept. Saying anything that is not true. Degrees in this. When we purposely set out to lie, to cheat others, this is 1 degree of lying. When we have gone out with somebody, perhaps a husband or a wife, and we're in the car and we're going someplace, and one says to the other, "Do I look okay?" And perhaps what they're wearing is not quite appropriate. But it's too late to go back. If we say it does not look right, they'll be upset the entire evening. There's nothing that can be done about it. We tell a white lie. Lying but it's not intentionally setting out to defraud another. All different degrees of lying, different karmic results. Stealing. Stealing is not necessarily just walking up to somebody demanding their money, committing fraud, embezzlement. Stealing is actually taking anything that we do not have the permission of the owner. If we see something on a table, some food, we don't know who it belongs to, we eat it, we have not asked them. This is stealing. Anytime we take anything that does not belong to us, that we do not have the permission of the owner, is stealing. So there are all different degrees in the precepts. We need to understand why we need to not do these things. We need to use judgment. There is a story from the Buddha's time of a king and queen. The king lost his temper, became infuriated with one of his ministers, and said that the minister was to be put to death. The queen knew this was not like her husband. She did not know what to do, but she knew the offense was very serious. All she could think to do was to offer her husband some wine to drink. She kept giving him wine, more wine. Finally, the king just fell asleep from being intoxicated. The next morning woke up and realized he had almost killed someone. The queen went to the Buddha and said, I have broken one of the 5 precepts. I have done something very bad. And she told the Buddha what she had done. And he said, you have not broken in this instant that precept. You have lifted the precept because you did so to stop a greater harm. You did so to save a person's life. And this is why we need to understand the precepts and why the Buddha taught them to us. So that we understand all the circumstances and we make judgments. To follow the precepts, the second of the 6 paramitas, does not just mean following the 5 precepts, the monk precepts, nun precepts, or bodhisattva precepts. It also means to follow the laws, customs, rules of wherever we are. When in Singapore, we follow Singaporean law. When in Australia, we follow Australian laws. We follow the customs of where we are. This is also the meaning in following the precepts. We do not offend people who live where we are. We do things as they do them, provided these things are proper. We often speak of according with others, according with conditions. And we often say, When others are doing something, do not be attached to our own way of doing something. Follow the customs. If everybody wants to do something in a particular way, don't be the only one who insists on doing it my way. Go along with the others. But again, think. Accord with proper conditions. If we accord with conditions that are improper, then we will have things such as the Holocaust in the Second World War. So when we accord with conditions, we accord with proper conditions. We follow customs, laws, rules of where we are. We do not break the laws. Even when no one else knows what we are doing, we follow the laws. Because others may not know what we are doing, may not see what we are doing. But there is still the karmic effect. There are still beings around us in other dimensions who do know what we are doing. And they will know when we are doing something improper. So to follow the precepts means to accord with customs, rules, laws, to do what is proper for where we are. The third paramita is that of patience. We need patience in everything we do. Nothing good has ever been attained without patience. If we are studying, we need patience to sit in the classroom, to do our homework. If we work, we need patience to do the job properly. With our family, we need patience to interact with others around us. When we're in a group of people, we need patience to work well with them. With ourselves, we need to have patience and understand that we have many, many bad habits from innumerable past lifetimes. But to have patience with ourselves means we understand that we have a fault and we do not become angry with ourselves. But to have patience with ourselves doesn't mean that we keep forgiving ourselves. We forgive others. We do not keep forgiving ourselves. We have patience. We have tolerance for others. When they wish to do something, and we do not, when we think what they are doing is wrong, we do not judge them. We need to practice as Sudana did in the Flower Adornment Sutra. Sudana was determined to attain enlightenment, and he had 53 spiritual advisors. He looked upon everyone as his teacher. He saw everybody as somebody he could learn from. This is what we need to do with all others. Everyone, everything is our benevolent teacher. We can learn from everyone. We are the only student. Everyone else is our teacher. And we respect others with this manner of thinking. Many of us find the faults of others much more readily than we can determine our own faults. In his practice, Sudana did not notice the faults of others. He was too busy trying to find his own faults. He was too worried that he did not have enough time to correct his own faults, much less try to go around and fix everybody else's. He did not see the faults of others. He saw only his faults. He was tolerant of all others. To say everyone is our teacher may be confusing. Obviously, a very good person can be a good teacher. A wise person can be a good teacher. How can a murderer be a good teacher? How can a thief be our teacher? Why should I respect this person as my teacher? We look at those who are doing good and we emulate their behavior. We use them as good role models, as good examples. We look at those who are doing wrong, who are doing evil. We see what they are doing wrong, and we learn that if we ourselves do not yet have this fault, that we do not develop it in the future. We do not do this in the future. We emulate those who are good. We learn from those who are bad. And we learn not to do what they are doing that is bad. In this way, everyone is our teacher. We do not know who these people are. In our world, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas come to teach us. In the Flower Adornment Sutra, many of the teachers were very benevolent, very kind. 3 were very bad, miserable people, very cruel, dishonest, not what we would consider good people. They were played by bodhisattvas to teach others. Buddhas and bodhisattvas come to this world to teach us. We do not know who they are when we will encounter them. A bodhisattva who comes to this world to teach us may appear in the guise of someone who does everything wrong, who is evil. A bodhisattva who is helping us, a highly attained person who has achieved much attainment in their practice, is at an entirely different level than we are. They may be doing things for reasons that we know nothing about. We cannot judge others. We do not know who they are, why they are doing something. We have not enough information to judge others. We judge ourselves We do not find the faults of others. We find our faults. We concentrate on our faults. We may be judging someone as doing something wrong when they are just a very wise, very compassionate person trying to teach us in a slightly unusual way. We know nothing of this. We are not to judge others. We are to be tolerant of others. We have had good teachers. They may not. We have good conditions to be here, to be learning. They may not. We do not know their cause and condition, their cause and effect. In this lifetime, we are to practice giving to help others, giving unselfishly, giving sincerely to help all others. We are to follow the rules, the customs of where we are. And we are to practice patience, tolerance for others. We are harsh with ourselves. We are forgiving, tolerant, patient with others. Practicing these three, we will be practicing some of the ways of bodhisattvas. And when we can practice these very, very well, we will be on the path to Buddhahood. Thank you. Let us read the dedication of merit together. May the merit and virtue accrued from this work adorn the Buddha's Pure Land, repaying the four kinds of above, and relieving the suffering those in the three paths below. May those who see and hear of this all bring forth the heart understanding and live the teachings for the rest of this life, then be born together in the land of ultimate bliss. Homage to Buddha, Amitabha.